Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our delicious roller coaster ride is about to continue. Into Trade Hall number 3, which is by far the largest, arguably the most A-list as well. They do have some of the big hitters in here. We're going to go a-wandering and see what we can find. It's quite crowded, but with this being quite a large room, I'm confident we should be able to pick our way through. So, I think we're going to start by going this way. We have card games, more board games for sale. We have a very large area dedicated to this one card game. It is quite a big name in the card game industry though, so understandable. But I mean, look at this. There's room to swing literally a dozen cats in here. Doesn't seem like very... Well, I'm not going to criticise their space allocation, because that's not what I'm here to do, frankly. Now, look at this. We have books, and more books. This particular hall doesn't have a whole lot of people playing games in it. This is really the ultimate trade zone, if you will. This is the prime trade location that seems to get... In fact, this is an incredibly crowded corner. We'd be lucky to get through this alive, I think. But because I'm holding a microphone, maybe people will part for me because they think I'm a member of the A-list media, which of course I am. In fact, I may even just speed up this part of the video, because it is quite a traffic jam here. I think we need a boom mic as well, just to really drive the point home that this is A-list media coverage and people should just part like the Red Sea for me. Squeezing our way through, we have more board games over here. We have some games being demonstrated here, including a rather interesting one called Halfling Feast, which, very interesting. Aren't enough halflings out there, or halfling-related games. I'm going to try and have a look at that at some point, but they have been swamped by people, because it is a very catchy title. I can see why people are going for it. More games being demonstrated over here. And we're back to the books again. So we're going to try a slightly different approach this time, and go round the other way, so we don't get caught in that horrendous traffic jam on that corner over there. So hopefully this way is a little more clear. Because on this corner, one of the big hitters of the industry, of course, we have Mantic. Look at all this goodness. Yes, we have a Martian, Dreadball t-shirts, and a plethora of Mantic staff. Demoing Dungeon Saga there. Which of course I backed on Kickstarter, and I'm waiting patiently. It's not going to be too long now. Very, very exciting. Moving on. We do have some people playing some games down here. I know I said this is mostly a trade area, and it is, but of course there are some games thrust in among them. And I don't even know if I can bring myself to try and walk down this bit, but you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get right in there, getting in the trenches among the people, no matter how hot and sweaty it is. In I go. This is what A-list journalists do, I'm afraid. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, mingling with the masses. Expertly picked my way through the crowd there. Now, I realise for much of this I'll have been facing away from the camera, but that's because if I turned round to face the camera, quite frankly, I would run into people every 2 seconds. And as funny as that would be, I would probably be ejected at some point. So, moving on. Oh my goodness, this is quite a jam. This is incredibly packed. This may be another part of the video that gets sped up. But quite a few of those. More board games. We'll get through it slowly. The main problem seems to be that there's so much delicious gaming goodness, people stop when they see something, and then everyone else, of course, has to stop behind them. It's a problem, but that's what you get when you have so much gaming goodness in one place. So many people. With this being the Saturday, this is, of course, the busiest day. yesterday was much quieter, but I didn't have a professional cameraman to follow me around then, so it wouldn't have been anywhere near as entertaining, because you wouldn't have been able to see the back of my head for all these untold hours. Well, we made it through there alive. So we've got a little bit of space now, so let's wander this way. It's a little bit more open here. Some people playing games, and we're about to get to another one of the big hitters. Of course, Hawk Wargames and Drop Zone Commander. Definitely a big hitter in every sense of the word. Apart from the scale of the miniatures, perhaps. So, they've got their wonderful new releases here. Extra juicy new releases. And if we step over here, then we can see a wild Pezapoo in his natural habitat, demoing Drop Zone Commander on his own custom-made table, which is quite the sight. I think everyone is in agreement with me on that. Now we're going to try and pick our way through here. In fact, let's take this shortcut and sneak through the Drop Zone Commander area and get a look at this gigantic spaceship. Now, I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but some of my edge highlighting is actually on this thing. If you take a close look at the guns up there, the edge highlighting you see on there, there's a reasonable chance that it might be my handiwork. I am an expert edge highlighter, as everyone should know by now. Edge highlighting, washing, dry brushing, those are the three cornerstones of any professional painter's technique. Moving on, we have zillions more board games. The most common kind of stall we seem to have are these board game traders. And we're stuck in a traffic jam yet again. This is what happens at such a busy, bustling event. Even the A-list journalists get caught up sometimes. Because the thing is, when people aren't looking directly at me, they don't know I'm an A-list journalist if I'm standing behind them, so they don't know to move out of the way. Right, I think we haven't quite seen everything in here, but because it's so crowded, I don't think we're going to be able to pick our way through to everything. So, we saw all the important stuff in here, I think, so we're going to move on to room 4, which is a little bit smaller, hopefully less crowded as well. And if we edge our way along here, they have quite an array of t-shirts. Oh, and my cameraman has just been molested by the terrain tutor. Oh dear, oh dear.